Life there has to be something more than just living this linear life. Like there needs to be like purpose behind it, and this is my purpose. I don't even know how to put it in words, man. I just give a shit. Ravina, as a little girl, I would describe her as just kind of an all-around, like, kind of a dorky kid, and I loved it. My mom would literally bring home like a sewing kit or a bracelet making kit. One day, my mom and my sister came home with this like plastic cake decorating, like piping set.
Then we both made a cake, and yeah, I didn't like it.
I fell in love with it, like right away. I was like, wow, this is so cool, making something from nothing. Then I found myself just like obsessing over Cake Boss, Food Network, watching YouTube videos. That was really the experience that planted the seed for me. I'm the eldest kid. I'm a good student. It looks like I have friends. It looks like I have all this stuff going. I've come from a great family. Like, I should be happy, you know? And I just wasn't. You know, I talk about that little girl, that really spunky, tried everything, was like honestly so full of life, to then kind of becoming so insecure, being so hyper aware of what people thought about me, or not feeling included, feelings of isolation, feeling it wasn't good enough. And I was like, you know, why would anyone want to be my friend? And it kind of started that way. Those thoughts really quickly turned into like really dark thoughts, like a thought that I don't think any 15, 16-year-old should have.
She's definitely, you know, overcome a lot. She's, I think, used what she struggled with to her advantage. There were a lot of doubts expressed to my parents about Ravina's choices, how she chose to, you know, explore her creative side as opposed to the educational route.
As a three daughters father, my thinking, if girls has their own identity and if they have full of confidence and they can handle every situation, yeah.
Okay, you feel okay though? Yeah. Okay, cool. Michelle, you feel good? Yeah. Okay.
No worries about it.
All right. The time I sold my first cake was one of my cousin's like wedding cakes. It was with white piping, a purple ribbon, daisies on it, pearls on it. I remember that night, like my dad told everybody in the room, my daughter made the cake. What did you think about it? So yeah, it was really cute. At that time, I did not think it was gonna be a business. I just thought it was something that made me happy. You know, I made that first cake and I really felt like I was good at something.
I'm just gonna do the free swirl, the dollop, and
Paris is definitely the reason, you know, my inspiration was reignited. I've always wanted to go to Paris to study pastry. That's like the birthplace of pastry, right? I actually inquired with the school. I just kind of did it. I got all their information and they told me that, okay, we'll have space for you in 2017. So this is the end of 2015. That gives me 2 years. 2 weeks after that initial conversation with the school, they called me and they said, hey, we have space for you in the next semester, which would be April of 2016. And I just said yes. They're like, well, we need a deposit tomorrow. So I'm like, you got it? I was at TD Bank at 9 a.m. I emptied my bank account, wired it to them, and I was like, okay, I'm going to Paris.
for lack of a better term. It's a lot of balls to go out there and be like, I'm gonna go out into a whole different country, across the world, and I'm gonna learn from some of the best chefs in terms of pastry chefs. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna start a business. This is putting your 10 toes down and you're gonna go do it, so.
And I remember not being able to sleep, and I remember talking to myself like, Rav, you're gonna open up your bakery. You're gonna open it up in a year. 11 months to that day, we opened up. July 17th, 2017, we opened up Just Cakes on Scott Road in 76.
I want to say the first 6 months, it was tough, like tough, because you're a small little shop in a hole in the wall in Scott Road, dominated by so many other businesses, and like people weren't really familiar with what she was doing or who she was.
Actually, a majority of people that came in for that first like month or two told me that I was gonna fail. But I did have still like my loyal customer base that would come from Abbotsford and Mission and parts of Surrey to come get cake from me, right? And that's what they did when I did from my home. So that kind of continued on, and that helped with the momentum for sure.
Their biggest launching pad at one point was just she got on with Tasty's Indian Bistro and being on their dessert menu.
Tasty's was my first wholesaler. So then this is actually the original. This is the first flavor that we wholesale, chocolate hazelnut. Yeah. Still on the menu at Tasty's, yeah.
I know she's working very hard, and sometimes she's working 16 hours a day, right? But she likes, and she's not thinking that way, I'm working, she's enjoying that. She was a student, and if I think about same as the East Indian, most, not the all, most of would push her to go to the doctor. She could make it, but on the other hand, if she didn't like it, then it's not worth it.
So I was getting a lot of opportunities, business was good, everything's like kind of like really good at this point. I'm set to get married, I have all these things going for me. And all of a sudden, COVID hits and everything just shuts down.
The COVID-19 pandemic has hit Canada's economy,
including losing jobs. The stories and impact different from person to person.
It was chaos, it was craziness, and I remember the day that I had to lay off 13 people. I was sick to my stomach, nauseous, I could not believe that I failed these people. How dare I? I really took it to heart. I knew I just had to do something.
The pandemic hit us pretty hard. Obviously, it hit every small business pretty hard, but it also was a way for us to transition in terms of how we thought about the business.
Just want to say thank you. We have so many incredible customers, so many regulars that message us. I felt like just being open to pivoting and open to adapting was what kind of helped save Just Cakes. One day, I remember my little sister was like, hey, why don't you put your jars in vending machines? And she kind of said it as a joke, but then I was like, why don't we? We're still kind of figuring out, what are we gonna call it? what are we gonna do with it? Show up for us and make this a success. So we did a 10-day pop-up in Willowbrook Mall in October, and I cannot even tell you the amount of jars that we went through in a day. Like, I think there were some days we did like 300, 400, 500 jars. There's lineups across, down the hallway. I still think back, I'm like, holy crap, like that's nuts. So we knew that the jar bar, the cake jar vending machine was, you know, we had proof of concept right here. It's like, it's something that people want, it works, and we were really happy with the result.
It's like, okay, we're good at this. Let's stick to this, right? Stick to what you're good at.
At the same time that this is all going on, I get the call from Giada, who had owned a bakery at the time, and she was, you know, in need of help.
We did want to obviously expand. At that point, we were growing. We were getting bigger, and we felt like we were outgrowing Scott Road a little bit. And I think that was more so just a blessing. And I think I would say in terms of, you never know what you're going to stumble upon.
The same year that we opened Cloverdale, so that was 2021, I put on my vision board then I wanted to have a warehouse. I just had this dream of like having a hub. And it was not even just to, sure, on one hand it's to grow the business, but it's on another hand is to provide like a place where like my crew could go, you know? Like my team could go, that they felt like they could practice their passion.
We've torn this whole place down, built this whole thing, and it's like, now we're gonna have a whole production facility. Like, our goal is to only continue to grow and continue to get that tiny little jar that people love to be everywhere.
If I look at the way I was raised, dreams were normal. Dreams were meant to be pursued. When someone comes up to me and says like, you know, my son, my daughter is motivated to do whatever they want to do because they saw you doing whatever that you wanted to do, that means so much. For so long, I didn't feel worthy of friendship, of love, of happiness, of like being celebrated or anything like that. Like, I would literally, like, the self-depreciation that I feel like I experienced was next level. Like, I wouldn't even accept any type of positivity, right? And to now, like, being on the other end of it, just being able to hopefully give that positivity to someone is like full circle moment, right? I just had a dream and a purpose, and I went for it, and so can you.